Today we're going to talk about how your vision of your company can completely stifle your actual growth. I see two different kinds of SaaS founders on both extremes. One is people that have such a big idea, they see this solution as being such a huge thing in the industry that they struggle to see the micro steps that it's going to take to get there. So they struggle to see the little things that they're going to have to take to execute on the big vision. Because at the end of the day, having a big vision is important, but having the realistic moment of where you are today is also important. And here's an example of what that would be. Let's say that you have this vision that you could see tens of thousands of taco stands using your software. I'm just throwing that out there. That is beautiful. Maybe you have all the math down. Maybe you've got the pain points. You've figured out little things that you're like, this would be a great solution for them. But if you're only thinking big, because I have sat in meetings with people that are only thinking about the big idea, they think that just having this big idea is going to be enough to get them the success in their software. And there's a problem with that. And that is that the greatest, and I know you've heard the saying because I didn't make this up, they say the greatest artists in the world have never been seen, and the best musicians have never been heard because they didn't know how to market themselves. They didn't know how to bring their product to market. And in that same exact fashion, there's really good ideas out there, some really cool software ideas that have never been executed properly on, and that is why there's places like Code Canyon that exist, where you have got all of these softwares that have been built, and then people decided just to resell the source code because they couldn't sell it on their own. And that's because just having an idea is nowhere near as good as the execution. Now, on the flip side of that, some people are so in the minute chart, so to speak, that they have no vision of where they want to go. And so they're learning all these little tactical things all day on how to get users, or maybe they're focusing on fixing up some CSS and the UX and different things within the software, but they're only doing that because they don't have any real plan, any vision as to where they want to take the software. And so the best place that you can be is somewhere in the middle, but I do think that you should allot time throughout your week to spend time on both. The majority of your time is probably going to be spent in the minutes where you're on the execution, but you have to step out of that and take an hour or two per week really to think about the vision of the company. Maybe it's a daily thing where every morning you think about where you want to go, where you want to take it. I probably weigh mine out where I'm doing a little bit of each daily. So I'll spend some time focusing on the vision of the company, and then I come back down to reality and say, okay, that's great. That's where we're going to be. But right now, this is where I'm at. And in order for me to get there, what are the steps that I need to take? That's the piece that most people don't do. And I have a theory on this, and it's because it's fun to think about vision. It's fun to think about all how big your company could be, and the money that you could make, and the software, how it could impact people's lives. It's very fun to think about those things. It is less fun to think about all the work it's going to take to get you there. So I challenge you to make sure that you're not so focused on just how big something could be that you forget to execute on it. People go see things like the Social Network movie or the Apple movie or whatever, where they see these big ideas coming to fruition, but what they might not think about is that it's not just a matter of having an idea, having a pitch deck, and taking it to investors. It's about having a plan on how you're going to get it there. I had a buddy once, and I'm still friends with him. We don't talk as much as we used to. And this guy had great ideas, beautiful ideas, but it seemed like every time I talked to him, he had a new idea, he was working on a new pitch, and he was taking it to some investors to see if they were interested on it. And none of them ever panned out. He never had anyone invest in his products, and he's never had massive success with the software yet. And I think that the reason for that is because He likes the idea of coming up with an idea, coming up with the solution, putting together the pitch deck, getting the logos made. He enjoys that piece of it. He just has zero comprehension or idea of how would you actually take something like this to market. And actually, if you can think like that, you can solve a lot of problems. Because I'll give you an example. There is somebody who recently approached us with an app. I'm not going to talk about what the app does, but the idea is it's not a matter of where you just sign in and you can get value just from using the software. But in this app, not only do you have to sign in, but it relies on other people to sign in. And what I mean by that is, think of like Zillow. You don't just need people looking at homes, you also need the homes being realtors and so forth being on there. Or maybe that's even a bad example because they can scrape data in even if they don't have the realtors through the MLS. So I'll give the example then of, let's just say, Uber. You don't just need Uber drivers, you need people who are using the app on Uber. So you have this chicken and the egg problem. A lot of people come up with these software ideas that have this chicken or the egg problem, and they don't have the knowledge or the financial means to ever actually execute on their idea. So they could build out the coolest app that solves the coolest problem, but now they don't have enough money to educate the customers on how to do this. And I think way too many people think that the idea is what gets them there. The only time that an idea is what gets you there is if it's in it's creating a new category in an emerging space that no one else has ever seen, because it's going to be a lot less expensive to get there. That's much harder to do. It's unlikely that you're going to create the next Facebook, because Facebook's already creating the next Facebook, which is the metaverse that Mark Zuckerberg's talking about. It doesn't mean you couldn't come up with a cool idea. It just means that it's going to take more money to get there. Now, that brings up a new question. If you've got this big vision, you have two choices. Do you bootstrap or do you get investors? I'm a big fan of the bootstrapping method. I have a lot of ways that you can either fund software on your own, or you can crowdfund, or you can get in a good small business loan if you wanted to. I've never done that for a software, but you could. And if you've got a 620 plus credit score and you're making $40,000 a year, we have partners now that can grow you, loan you money to build your software, and they'll spread your payments out over, 3 to 5 years. So it's pretty easy to manage. My point being, though, is that these are things you need to be thinking about. The bigger the idea and the more impact, the more money it's typically going to cost to execute and to get it there. You look at any of these companies like Snapchat or Instagram. When they started up, they were just burning cash. A lot of software companies are just cash burning, and they have investors who are just dumping money in because they don't know where else to put the money, because right now money is cheap. My point behind this is that you have to have two different visions. One is the big vision, and then you also have to be seeing what it's going to take to get you there. And they have to both be equally balanced, because you can have this big vision, this big idea, but if you don't have the financial means to get you there, why even go down that path? Or if you don't have the ability to go raise the funds to get you there, you just need to have proper expectation. I'm not trying to talk you out of your idea. I just want you to have the proper expectation, because most people way underestimate what it's going to actually take to execute on their idea. They think that if they just throw this out into the marketplace, people will just sign up for it and they're going to start making money. And that very rarely happens. Very rarely. A lot of times you build out the software, you find the problem, and then you have to really tweak your messaging. You have to tweak your marketing, so that way you have a now product market fit, a rinse and repeat method to continue doing this. And so I just want to make sure that as you guys are, whether you're white labeling or not, that as you're breaking into markets, as you're creating new software, etc., you're thinking about all these things and you're setting up the proper expectation. If you are only planning on going into this, giving it a shot for 3 months, and if it doesn't work, you're going to quit, then don't even start. Don't even waste your time or money. It's going to take you a lot longer than that to actually find product market fit. With Lead Carrot, I don't even say that we found product market fit until at least a year or so into it. And the reason for that is because I had a warm audience that was buying it. I don't consider that product market fit. Those people already trusted me. I'll make another video on this, but there's a book that I've been reading called Impossible to Inevitable. And in it, he talks about the trust arc. And on one side of it, it's people who know you, they're warm, they'll give you the time of day. And on the other side of it, it's people who don't know you, and you've got like 3 to 30 seconds to grab their attention. Until you have been able to get the people on the extreme spectrum who don't know you to buy your product, you really haven't found product market fit yet. That's what you need. So I don't even consider what we found, I don't even think we found product market fit until the first year, even though we had a lot of users on in that first year, because those people were warm and knew me, and we weren't really running ads for the software just yet. But I don't want to get too much off the point here. I can make another video on that in the future. Anyways, hopefully you've enjoyed this little bit of a rant. I know I kind of go off a little bit on a tangent, but I really enjoy this subject of software. If you have any questions about software, or you're wanting to grow a software, maybe you're just wanting to develop one, we have a development team that can help you. We can help you get funded. We can give you the plan to bootstrap. If you've already got the software, we can help you get users. Just drop your information down below, or just email me. You can email me at ross@leadcarrot.io. You probably don't want to put your information in the comments, so it's kind of stupid. But the point is get a hold of us. We can help you. I will put a link to my Facebook group, Saas Mode, down in the comments. If you click on that link, you can get into the group, and then you can DM me. I don't care. I'm not one of those people who doesn't want to DM. DM me and let me know your ideas, what you're thinking, and I'd love to help you out. Have a great day.